Now, one video that did really well, I got a really good response from, was the breakdown video of the costs so far on the VN. What I've paid for it, what it costs so far, what it owes me in general, blah, 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 blah. Of course, that's about to be blown straight out of the water with this engine that I need to do for it now, but anyway. So I thought I'll do the same video on the EVO 6. Now, just a quick rundown. I bought this, it'll be almost a year, I think, 10 months or something like that, just before, or just as COVID started here in Australia, in Melbourne. Sold the XE and wasn't necessarily looking for an EVO, but this one popped up. I still have a screenshot of the original ad, which I'll put here somewhere. Went to see the car twice, ended up purchasing the car for a price that I was happy with, which I'll obviously discuss in a sec. It is pretty much stock. I've just been doing lots of cleanup stuff. It was a bit rough. It needed a lot of things replaced. It's a very messy car. Not very loved, I don't think. But I saw the diamond in the rough and I'm doing my best to bring it back to what it should be. Or what I think it should be anyway. Before we get into all that, I'm gonna do a quick service because I'm going on a bit of a drive tomorrow, which you will see in another video. And then we'll get into some numbers. And I thought, while I'm under here, I may as well pull this out. This is the beam that goes pretty much down the center of the car, and it's got a engine mount and transmission mount on it. This one, I noticed last time, is very, very worn. As you can see, it's coming apart there, and it's all broken down the bottom. So I actually ordered a while ago a genuine Mitsubishi one. So I may as well replace that while I'm here. Always make sure they're the same before you put them on. Yep. And back in the car she can go. So now on to some numbers that I'm sure everyone is very interested in. So we are here with my EVO in a nice secluded area, which I thought would be nice and quiet, but all I've heard since I got here is burnouts down there in the court. So for people that don't know, I will also explain this car, what it is, when I got it, and of course we'll start running through the numbers. So here we go. So the mods this car came with when I bought it, it already had MCA coilovers, which is a big bonus. Well, you're not going to see much back there, but here they are here. Already has a metal intake with a Blitz filter on it. Already has a pie cut twin dump that goes down to a full 3-inch exhaust. It has 2-piece front discs, which was a bit of a bonus. The Brembo's a factory. There's a Turbo Smart actuator down in there that you probably won't be able to see. Front strut brace is stock. It has a strut brace in the rear which isn't stock. Interior's all factory. It came on standard wheels. It has these, which I really do not like, but unfortunately I've noticed that the paint's a bit stuffed behind here, so I can't, if I take this off, I got to paint this lower lip, which I don't really want to mess with, so it can just stay. And it sort of matches the vent on the bonnet, which I also don't really like. These, you can tell it's aftermarket because it fits like shit, but I would much rather the standard vent in there that is color coded to the car. Apart from that, it's pretty stock, which is how I sort of intend to keep it. Now I'm going to do it a little bit different than how I did the VN video. We're going to shoot it like this, point of view, have the camera on my head, and each thing I go through I will show you on the car as we go. Now, you may remember this whiteboard from such YouTube videos as how much did my VN cost me? And it's now back in this video with the EVO 6. So I bought this car last year, June 2020. So I haven't had this car 12 months yet. I just sold a car, wasn't really looking for an EVO at all. I was actually looking for S15s, S2000s, you know, WRXs, stuff like that. And this car just happened to, this car found me pretty much. So as you saw previously, the car was up for sale for, I think it was 28 or 29 grand, and I went and looked at it. It was local, which was good. So I thought, what have I got to lose? Let's go look at it. Now I will admit, it was, more burnouts. I will admit this car was pretty rough, and it's how I got it for the price that I did. It actually does have some problems that I've sort of been ignoring since I got the car, and I really need to attend to, but you'll see that in future videos. One thing I haven't put in the cost of this car are wheels and tires, because if I ever sell this car, there is no chance in hell it is going with these wheels. So I've put that aside as a cost that doesn't count to the car, because I'll be keeping those regardless. So if you're one of the Commodore guys that are on this channel and you don't know much about this car, it is a 1999 EVO 6, so same shape as the 4 and 5. This is the last of this shape, and then I went to the 7, which was the new shape. Purchased this car in July last year with the standard wheels, etc, etc. Car is pretty stock. Bought it with 173 Ks. I think now it has 174, so I haven't really done many Ks on this car at all. The thing that caught my eye with this car was the color. I love this color, and it's actually the rarest color that these cars came in. They only came in blue, and the rest of the colors were white, silver, and black, I think. I think that's it. So not much color variety in this shape. So I bought this car in July last year for 23,000 Australian dollars. The interior on this car was the thing that let it down. So the driver's seat was absolutely screwed, and the material, because it has this mesh, you can't really, well, I couldn't find anyone that could replicate this, so I had to just buy a new seat. So I bought a seat for $600 off Gumtree, and it's actually a passenger seat, but they're interchangeable, so you just put the belt on the other side and it's the same shit. And I sold the worn seat for $250. Now this car had stereo in the boot, so a really shitty stereo, like everything was sort of just self-tap it into here, there and everywhere. So I had a sub box with a sub in it, an amp and all that crap. So when I got home with this car, when I first bought it, it's actually the first thing I pulled out, that stereo. I could not stand it. So I sold the amp and the sub for $150 and $100. I also found in the boot a car bra. It wasn't a full car bra, it was just one of those ones that cover the front of the bonnets so you don't get stone chips. I sold that for $50. Now is when we started getting into buying things. So I bought a brand new old stock gear knob, which was $180. Now this was really hard to find because most of these EVOs have red stitching on the wheel and the gear knob, and as you can see, this car, shut up, fucking beeping noise. This car being blue had the blue stitching. So I had to find a blue stitching one, which was very, very hard, but I did find one in the end. So that was 180 bucks. Also, the steering wheel, all down here, these Momos are really bad for wear. So all down here was all stuffed. It would actually crumble in your hand when you tried to drive the car. So I had to buy a new steering wheel, which after searching forever, I found one in Japan. So I bought through Streeter, through Yahoo Japan, and this was very expensive. Total was $689 and 39 cents delivered. I have to admit, it is a very good steering wheel. All the grain is still in it, the blue stitching is still prominent, so I was very happy with that in the end. And I did manage to sell the old one because you can retrim them, so to some people it is worth, if you don't have one to even start with, it's worth retrimming one if you can find one. And I sold that for $269.29. Now the odd number is because of PayPal. That's just what it worked out to be in the end. Now on the other side, this was actually missing this guard liner altogether, which I was not content on leaving, so I ended up finding brand new from Mitsubishi this guard liner, which again was not cheap. Stuff for this car is not cheap, and I actually need to replace this one too because it's a bit chewed through, a couple of clips missing, but I would rather just get a new one. So that guard liner was $286. Now, as you can see, stuff for this car is not cheap at all. Another thing I replaced straight away was the clips in the floor for the rear seat. They were broken, so the base of the seat would just fall out. They were 20 bucks, brand new from Mitsubishi. Fog light. Now, when I bought this car, I was told, yeah, don't worry, mate, the fog lights are in the boot, because they weren't in the car. Of course they were in the boot. One was fine, but one was broken, was missing a lens altogether. So it took me a very long time to find another one of these PIAA fog lights, and I ended up paying $200 for that just by itself. So 200 bucks for that. Now these Amayama orders. Now Amayama, you've probably heard me talk about in these EVO videos before, but Amayama is a site where you can order straight from the dealer in Japan. I ordered all 4 of these, so all 4 doors. The 2 front inners, as they were gone. I ordered the Mitsubishi badge on the front, as that was missing, and also the bracket that goes behind it. I also ordered this cap for the rear wiper was missing, so that was in one of my orders. And also the engine mount that you saw me replace at the start of this video was ordered through Amayama as well. So I think that was it. But anyway, those Amayama orders came to $551.83. So not cheap for genuine parts. If you remember, I did a radiator in this car. As the factory one, they're very prone to splitting the top tanks. So I thought I would get onto it before it left me stranded anywhere. So it has a Mishimoto radiator, which I was lucky to find there was a place with them on sale at the time. And that cost me $461.95. Not cheap. It did split a drive shaft in the back, drive shaft boot, sorry. That was $100, including fitting. There was 2 seat repairs that I've done. One was, it had a cigarette burn here, if some of you remember. So I had this panel here replaced with genuine material. And also, this came apart from here and started to come out. So I had that repaired. So both of those repairs together were $150. And I also replaced, it had a shitty SAS boost gauge down here. I replaced it with a genuine G-Ready boost gauge, which I found on Facebook for $155. So that's what I've spent on this car so far. Now, I also took into account with the VN videos what the videos have made. Now, the VN videos are very different to this car. The VN's made, I think it was like 2.5 grand in videos. This, nowhere near that. So in videos for this car, I think there's 10 total. It's $457.92. So not even close to the VN. This videos on this car rarely get very good views. I don't know why. EVOs have a really big following, so I don't know. The channel hasn't caught on to the EVO guys. I have no idea. So anyway, the total for this EVO 6 so far is $25,021.96. Now, considering I started at 23, I reckon that's pretty good. Now, in today's market, I'm gonna say this is a 30, I've seen Evo 6s for upwards of 50 grand, but I don't think anyone's paying $50,000 for one of these. I'm gonna say this is a $30,000 to $35,000 car at the end of the day. So, like the VN, I think I'm ahead, which is pretty good. Now, I'm definitely not in it for the money with these cars. I just like to keep track, and it also makes good YouTube videos because a lot of people want to know, what did you spend, what did this cost, what does it owe you, blah blah blah. So keeping track of everything I spend on these cars is a good thing. I wish I did it with all my other cars. It would have been good to keep track. What cars you lose money, what cars you made money, broke even, blah 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 blah. I'm assuming a few people will ask, what about all the turbo stuff? Because I had this all off. Actually, that's another thing I forgot. I paid $100 for this heat shield. I don't know why that's not on my list. I need to add that now. I did have the turbo off at one point to go back to factory manifold and stuff, but I got all that for free off Logan. So thank you very much. That cost me $0 in the end. Now, plans for this car. God damn, it's cold. Plans for this car. It does need a couple of wheel bearings. Well, it sounds like it does anyway. I'm thinking both fronts, so I might attend to those next. I am happy with the power in this car. It does go very good for stock. It's just got an exhaust, that's it. But I would absolutely love to do E85 cams, Evo 9 turbo. That would be awesome, but I don't want to mess with something so good. You know, it's reliable, drives really good, so I might leave it for now, but we'll see. When stuff pops up, I'll grab it. If not, then whatever. So anyway, I'm keen to hear from the VN guys that watch this channel what you think of the Evo. Probably cop a lot of shit, but whatever. Comments means interaction, so that's good. Get the comment section flowing. What would you do next if you had this car? I know you're all gonna say, I'd sell it and buy another car. I'm not selling it. I love this car so much. You know, it goes good, comfy, good on fuel even, rips through the hills, and is a great looking car. I love it. Anyway, hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I'll see you next week. I'm getting the hell out of here. It feels like my ears are gonna snap off to that Frozen. See you guys.